guys! So it's time for another installment of the Planner Addict Dilemma series. My home planner has always been kind of a blessing and a curse. Not really a curse, I'm exaggerating. Obviously, these are not serious real-life dilemmas, these are just fun Planner Addict puzzles, and I like to share them with my fellow planner people. So the home planner has been really great. We've had one for about 1.5 years, and it's just nice to have a place where I can write down our joint schedules for me and James, when he's at work, when I'm at work, when Tails and Mochi have a vet appointment, that kind of thing, so that we can both easily access it without having to ask each other. And kind of hand in hand with that, when we started doing meal planning, that was also nice to have as a sort of joint thing so that we could both check it easily. So I guess I'm kind of lumping the meal planning and the general home planning together because they're the two issues that we both like to be able to consult. So the problem with the home planner is that the concept is great, but the actual vessel just keeps changing. So it's been in a Hobonichi Cousin, that was its first incarnation, then a Hobonichi A6, then it was in an A5 ring binder for a while, then we switched to a spiral bound planner, then it went into a paper blanks bound planner, then it went into a happy planner, then a Disc Agenda Diva, and most recently it's been in this personal Zinnia Unicorn Traveler's Notebook. So all of these different systems have had pros and cons, and the issue at the moment is that we're trying to decide whether we want to keep it in here or move to something else. So with the Zinnia Unicorn, I decided to try using this mostly because I had these personal sized Happy Scrappy Fodori inserts, which I had bought just because I loved them and I wanted to use the cover as a dashboard for my weeks. That was really my main reason for buying them, because I wasn't planning, and I've never really managed to get the hang of planning in a traveler's notebook. So I had these, and I just decided during One Book July, I started looking at all of my sad unused planner supplies, and I was like, I really want to use this. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to use it as a home planner. So I sort of went into it without a huge amount of commitment, mostly because I just wanted to use it and I wasn't that worried about it, because I thought it's better using it for a few weeks and then deciding that I don't like it rather than never using it and then never being able to cut it up and put this in my weeks. And it's just so beautiful. It's so happy and cute and colorful, and I really like it. And it's a Planner Addict theme, which is just perfect. That was why I bought it. And also it has 8 weeks worth of inserts, which is sort of not too big of a commitment. And normally I like the idea of having a nice chunky planner that goes for the whole year, but let's face it, because this home planner has been so fraught with perils and has constantly been victim to switching out, realistically probably 8 weeks is just about as much as we can handle. James likes the idea of just having one home planner, using it for the whole year and not switching, but I think he's kind of given up on me because it's just, gone through so many different iterations. And I always think that that's partly because I haven't quite cracked it and found the one that I just am completely satisfied with, and also because as a planner addict I like to switch things up. So if most of my planners are fixed and settled and I'm totally committed to them, my cousin and my weeks, then it's kind of nice to have a planner that you can rotate out so that you get a chance to use your new planner stuff that you acquire, perhaps, without knowing what you're going to do with it. But it would be nice to have a home planner that is fixed and definitely works. So, pros of this system. For one, I love the Zinnia Unicorn, and it's nice getting to use it. It only has one insert in it, which is kind of a shame because the extra elastics are just staring at me accusingly, saying, why aren't you using me? But I really don't have any need for any more inserts in this because this has got everything in it. So I'll just show you what it has. It has this really cool setup. I think I might have shown this briefly before, so sorry if you've already seen this. I'll go through it quickly. It has this kind of habit tracker with a little grid page at the grid box at the bottom. Then it has a week on 2 pages, undated. Then it has, well, you could use this for a lot of different things, but I think it's perfect as a menu planner. And then it has what to me works really well is a shopping list, and then these two little extra spaces for notes or whatever, and then it has another page for notes, and then it repeats itself. So it's this nice little package, which is different than anything that I've ever used before, in that normally I've just had a setup like a Hobonichi or a Moleskine or a Leuchtturm planner, where you just have, you know, a month on 2 pages, week on 2 pages, possibly a daily, but not all of these different setups. Like, this was really designed with planner addicts in mind, which I think is really cool, because a lot of us make habit tracking sections ourselves, and, you know, then it's nice to have a page of note paper. So I think it's really cool that it repeats itself. And also, I love the colors. I'm such a rainbedical person. Anything rainbedical, I'm a complete sucker for. And it's just so happy and cheerful. I really like the layout of the week on 2 pages, because it gives equal space to every day, and that's one of my deal breakers. So it's just a really nice layout. The paper quality is fantastic. It's really good with fountain pens. It's very thick, and it's also the kind of paper that dries really quickly, which is a huge plus for me, particularly because I'm left-handed, but I think a lot of people would agree. So it's kind of like the Disc Agenda paper, if that is helpful to you. It's like it's very matte, and it's not like the Tomoe River paper, which kind of takes a while to dry with fountain pen ink, I've found. So it's great for fountain pens, which is cool because that's what I'm using mostly now. And I just love all the Planner Addict themes. So she has different inserts that you can get. They come in her subscription kits, but you can buy them separately, which is what I've done. And this is the Planner Addict theme. So I just think it's so cool. It's got fountain pens here. It has paper clips here, like little, what are these called? Bulldog clips, and a pencil. And I just love it. It's really, really cool. And then the washi tape, and yeah. So I'm totally a fan of this. And I really like having all of the different layouts, because this is how we're using it. So you can see that this is like where the week starts. So we have this habit tracker, which I've been using for when James is at work, when I am out of the house, and then just random things that I feel like tracking, like how many times I've cycled in the week. That's mostly all we're using it for, but there's space for other things if you wanted to have them. And then the week on 2 pages, which is really simple. That's just where we are, and if there's a particular task that I want to remind James to do, I put it in here. And he doesn't usually really write in this. Occasionally he does. And then this is where we attempt to do meal planning, and as you see, we have been failing at it miserably. And then the shopping list here, and I actually have been using this because it's a very convenient place to put it next to the meal planning. It makes sense, and also because this is so small and portable, if one of us is going to the shops, we can just take it with us, or if we're ordering stuff online, it's right here. And I think that makes more sense than putting it in my personal planner, because then I would still have to kind of like relay the message to him if he was going, and you know, it's just in here this way. And then there's a space for notes, which we sometimes use, sometimes we don't use, but it's just really nice to have it. So I think that this is an excellent and very unusual setup, which is just perfect for planner people, because it's kind of got everything that you would need, and it's flexible enough that you can decide how you want to use it. So if you didn't want to use this for meal planning, you could do something completely different with it, but it's just a perfect setup for meal planning because it's got the 3 boxes. And anyway, so I think that this is an excellent design, and I just love the colors, and it doesn't need decorating because it's already so happy. So those are the pros. The cons are, the first one is that it's undated, which obviously is totally understandable. Like, it has to be undated, really. But as you know, I'm not very good with undated planners. I've kind of like made peace with it for this because I like it so much. But ideally, it would be nice to have a dated planner, because for forward planning, I've actually filled in the dates until the end of this booklet, but it only goes until the middle of September. So if we wanted to put like kind of more future things in this, which I guess is not really a necessity, because as I've said before, this is just like a satellite planner. So I don't put any information in here that isn't already in my personal planner or my work planner, or that like James doesn't have in his planner when he uses it, which is a different story. But it would just be nice, like if we knew that something was happening, you know, I don't know, in October, it would be nice to be able to put it in. And the only way to do that really would be to order more of these. So I've worked out that I think you need about 7 of these for the year, which is not a huge amount. And then I was thinking if I did get some more of them, I could put them all in here, and then that would make these elastics very happy because they wouldn't be neglected anymore. And then I'd have a nice chunky traveler's notebook, which would be really satisfying. And I'd have, you know, like, I don't know, I could say like put 6 months in, probably at least, or 8 months would fit on these 4 elastics. And that would work really well. And then I could like go through and date everything and not have to think about it anymore. So that's one option that I'm considering, just because I like the insert so much. But the downside to that would be that I've already got some other planner inserts or planners that I could use, and not like trying to be super like no spendy or anything, but you know, it just seems like if you can avoid spending extra money when you've got stuff that you could use that would work, then that seems like the sensible thing to do. So I'm kind of thinking like, rather than buying, you know, like another 6 or 7 of these to get through the year, when I might end up deciding in a couple of months that I don't want to use it anyway, like probably is not a good idea. So I think that like we're going to use these up, so that will take us through the end of, so it's like another month and a half, which is not too much of a commitment, and then switch to something else. But I really like having all of these things in one place. It's just so convenient. And I also like the fact that it's so portable, because this is the first time since we had the A6 Hobonichi, which didn't really work because it was too much space. Like a day per page was not necessary for this type of information, because this is only something that you're consulting, you know, like maybe a couple of times a day. Like we didn't need a day per page, and it wasn't working. But since then, we've always had a much bigger home planner, and this is really nice because it's portable, so we could take this with us quite easily if we wanted to, if we went away. Not that we ever go anywhere except for Wales, but if we went to Wales, we could take it with us easily, or not. But even like for going shopping, so like yesterday, I think we went out and I took this with me, and then we went to Sainsbury's on the way back, and I was like, aha, I have this here, and there's the list of what we need. And so James went to the shop, and I took Tails and Mochi back home, and he got all of this stuff, and we didn't have to think about it because it was on this list, which I now can't find. There it is. You see, it's all crossed off. So that's a really big pro, I think, is that it's so small and compact. So I'm not sure. That's part 1 of the dilemma. On to part 2. What would we replace it with if we didn't use this? Because, as I said, using this would require buying more inserts, and I kind of don't want to do that if I don't have a really good reason. So, enter the Disc Agenda Diva, which I have been using to keep my Jewish calendar. And I had one of these this year, and we were actually using this as our home planner. This was the spiral planner that I mentioned, and I like this because it's got all of the Jewish holidays on it, and it's got the Jewish months and the Jewish dates, which is just convenient because sometimes we want to know, like say our wedding anniversary, what the Jewish date is, as well as the Gregorian date. So it's quite useful to have. And also, obviously, it gives you the times of the holidays and like the times that Shabbat comes in, and it's just very useful. So I ordered another one of these for the new year, which it starts in September, the end of August, which is like kind of around when the Jewish year starts. This year it starts at the end of September. So I really like this because, for one thing, because of all of the Jewish calendar information. And also because it's got a week on one page, which is quite compact. And I think for something like this, for what we need it for, it's enough. The question is, would we be able to do all of that other stuff, though, that I have been doing in here? So I worked out that if I were to put appointments on this side, we could fit meal planning on this side, and that would be okay. It would fit, I think, because if you have like say 3 or 4 spaces for meal planning, and then you have like 3 or 4 appointments, we wouldn't have more than that in a day. It would work for that. And then the shopping list could go here, because for a week, the shopping list is really, it's not like our entire shopping list, because a lot of the stuff is just repeated every week, and James orders it online, and that's very simple. It's just stuff that we think of that we need as we go along. So I think that would be enough room for it. So I think we could fit all of that on. We couldn't fit the habit tracker, which I've had in here, but I think the habit tracker is like, it's a nice bonus, but I'm just using it because it's there. If it wasn't there, it wouldn't be the end of the world. We never had a habit tracker before. Not really a habit tracker. It's just a tracker. It's like, when one of us is out, when the boys, the Tails and Mochi, are at the dog sitter, which is when we're both out, stuff like that. It's not really necessary, so we could live without it. But it doesn't have that nice layout where you've got, like, you know, the meal planning in a nice section with the shopping list right next to it, and it doesn't have the notes pages, which again are not really a deal breaker because we never had notes pages before when we were using this, and it was fine. But I think having had them in this, I've kind of got to get a bit used to the idea of just having an extra space to write random notes, because my home planner and work planner are kind of like really regimented, and I don't know, I like being really neat and type A with them. So it's nice having somewhere that is just like totally unassigned space, that it doesn't really matter if I just, you know, want to do like a pen test or something. That's what this is very good for. So that's kind of the dilemma with this. The other thing about this is that, as you can see, it's much bigger. So like if we go out, we are not going to be taking this with us, whether it's in this cover or not. I love this cover, and obviously the cover is really good because it has a pen loop and it has the pockets. This also, because it's a spiral bound planner, I don't really like spiral bound planners. I've talked about that before, so a lot of you probably know about my spiral bound planner issue. I love this planner, which is why I bought it again, but I just don't really like the spiral binding. So the fact that it can be kept in this cover, I really like it because I love the look of this, and then when I open it, it's like, it somehow it doesn't bother me so much. But if it was just this on its own, I wouldn't like it as much. So yeah, with this, the pros are, one, I've already bought it. I have it. It runs for like 16 months, so it runs until December 2017. So I wouldn't have to spend any more money. I've already got it. That means it would be sort of being used to its full potential. There's something nice about using this for a home planner because, you know, like if we already have it just as a reference planner, just to be able to check the Jewish dates, it kind of makes sense to use it. We could pretty much fit everything in that we needed. But it's not as portable, and it doesn't have all of those nice layouts that this one does. So we could fit everything in that we really needed, but it's been very luxurious having all of these layouts in this one. So that's the story with this one. Then the last one, yes, there's more to the dilemma, is this. This is the Disc Agenda Turquoise, and this one has got my actual Disc Agenda in it. So for quite a while, well, like, I don't know, 3 months, which is a while in Planner Addict terms, right? We were using this as a meal planner, and it worked fantastically as a meal planner. I really only stopped when I started putting the meal planning in my personal planner, in my week. So I started putting the meal planning in this, and I think that that was kind of in preparation for One Book July, and in a way that was a good thing because it proved to me that I could put everything I needed in here, and it's great having everything in one book except for the work stuff. But it was also kind of a bad thing because it meant that like we weren't both invested in it, because this is my planner, and obviously James can look at it if he wants to, but you know, like if something isn't your planner, you're not as familiar with the setup, and you don't exactly necessarily know where to look, and you don't have it with you all the time. Whereas this, because it was joint, we could both check it, and it was out on the table, and that was quite nice. So yeah, so the issue is, when we were using this as a meal planner, it actually first started off as a complete home planner, and I was using it I was writing down appointments and, you know, like joint kind of the planning stuff in the monthly, and that worked okay because, like I said, it's not like we have to write down all of our appointments. It's only the things that concern both of us, like general whereabouts. So it worked fine for that. And then we were using the weeklies for the meal planning, and there was a space here to put the shopping list. So that worked well. So I was thinking we could really go back to that. That was a good setup, and it had room for everything. Or alternatively, we could actually like kind of economize on the space, because I was like using stickers for the meal planning, which is fun, but sometimes it takes longer than it would just to write things down. So what we could do is, like, say, divide this into three sections, which, because I was thinking morning, noon, and night because of the icons, but you can ignore the icons. and just use it as 3 sections. So you could say where James is going to be, where I'm going to be, and then meal planning. And you could fit the meal planning in here. I was just being really decadent, like, you know, putting everything on a sticker, but I could just write it on here and then use this as a shopping list, and then not use the monthly spread. Probably we wouldn't need the monthly spread in that case. And then everything would be in one place. We'd have the meal planning, we would have the, you know, like kind of home schedule planning. And I really like using this. I think that this is another issue, is that I miss using the disc agenda because I'm not using it at the moment. But and then I guess the one more pro is that I have inserts for this for the rest of the year. So, and also for the beginning of 2017. And buying inserts for this is quite cheap. I don't know what they're planning for 2017. I think that the 2017 inserts actually are already up on the Doki Book website. I'm pretty sure that I saw them last time I was stalking the website, as I often do. Anyway, so like they're quite cheap. They're like, I think it's like maybe $13 or $14 US for the whole year. So it would be much cheaper than getting a year's worth of inserts for this, because these are $6.99 each, I think. So if you got like 6 or 7 of them for the year, it ends up being a lot more. But again, the downside is that this is much bulkier. So like we wouldn't take it with us if we were going out, or if, you know, we were going away. And it's not really a necessity to take it with us, because as I have worked out with the One Book July experiment, I can fit everything in this, and this is all I would really take with me if I were going somewhere. I wouldn't need to take the home planner. But I mean, like what happened yesterday when we went to the shop, it was just nice having this with us rather than having to copy the stuff over or anything like that. This though, because it's a disc agenda, you can obviously take the page out, but then just a loose page on its own, like going to the shop, we'd have to fold it, and like, no, obviously don't want to do that. So yeah, that's the situation at the moment that I'm trying to decide between. So I think in some ways it would make the most sense to use this, because I've already got it anyway. It's, you know, it's going to be valid for a huge amount of time, like the next year and a half. So no money will need to be spent, and it kind of does everything that's really needed, but it's kind of big and bulky. This one would require spending less money because it's got the next 6 months in it, and then it wouldn't be that expensive to buy the next year. And it has this flexibility because you can, you know, move the pages around. We don't really need that for the home planner, but it is kind of a nice feature, and I like the disc agenda. And also because of that, like if we were going away and we really wanted to take it with us, we could just take out like the loose pages that we needed, as long as we had another A5 binder to store them in, which I guess would be my work planner, my cousin. But again, it's kind of bulky. And then there's this one, which has kind of got it's got the pros of being very lightweight, very easy to just kind of move around with us, like great for the shopping list, and awesome because it's got this cool layout, which is really happy and colorful and beautiful. But the cons are that I would have to buy a whole bunch more of them, and also that it's undated. I'd say that those are the main cons. The undated thing I can live with, because I think I would just go through and date everything so that it didn't become a chore. And I would kind of like I like the idea of having the traveler's notebook. Like we've just never really had a traveler's notebook for the home planner. And it does have the potential, as well as adding extra ones, like, you know, extra booklets of the same thing. Like if we wanted to, we could add on another booklet for something else, that if we wanted to have some other insert for something that I haven't thought of yet that's relevant to both of us. So that is the situation at the moment. So as I said, this is not like an actual problem. It's just a kind of like fun planner issue that I've been mulling over, and I'm trying to decide what to do. And so I thought it would be nice to share the process with you, because I always like to hear about other people's planner processes and what they're thinking, and pros and cons, and how they make their planning decisions. So I haven't decided yet. We're kind of leaning towards using this one just because of the you know, sort of practical and economic factor that we've already got it, and it makes sense to use it since we have it. But I don't know, because I'm just really enjoying using this one. So I'm not quite sure, but I will keep you posted, and I'm sure before long something will have been decided. Whether it's the final decision or not, time will tell. But this definitely, there is going to be another installment of the home planner saga for sure before much time has passed. So I hope you enjoyed this. As always, thank you so much for watching. It really, really makes me so happy. And I will see you again soon. Bye.